So, questions and answers. Let's do it. Let's start with the most common questions. What is the first tarantula that got you into the hobby and why? I don't really have a first tarantula that got me into the hobby. When I found out how many there are, I was just amazed by all of them, and I was just searching for some species that is good for beginners, and that's why I got Grammostola rosea as my first one, but not because it's my favorite, just because it was recommended. How did you start on YouTube? I created a YouTube channel, not the Dark Den, but the other private, my personal YouTube channel. I created it so I can upload one gameplay clip from the World of Warcraft. It was long time ago and we killed Hakar, the end boss of Zul'Gurub. And that was my first YouTube video. And after that I started uploading skateboard videos that I was recording with my friends, and also I was recording some lame bass cover songs. But yeah, that is on my old private YouTube channel. So naturally, when I entered the hobby, I wanted to do videos for my hobby, and the main reason that really motivated me to do the videos was a lack of really quality videos, but most of them were shaky camera with recording floor, and anyway, it was not that long ago. So that's why I started to put really great effort into making the videos. And here are the results. When and why did you start collecting tarantulas? Well, probably think that I'm an old school keeper, but no, I started keeping like 3 years ago, and like 4 years ago I moved into this apartment. And I really wanted some pet because my mom didn't let me keep anything other than fish or hamsters. And at start I was convinced that I will get myself a cat because I always wanted a cat. But since I also work and I live alone, that cat would be alone most of the time. And I came to the conclusion that that's really not the option. And then I really randomly remembered that I like spiders. Because when I was a kid I really enjoyed collecting spiders in front of my apartment, and I was always bringing them home, and I was hiding them because my mother, of course, wouldn't let me keep them in the house. So yes, when I was a kid I was really obsessed with animals in general, but spiders had a special place. And I wanted a tarantula, but no way, that's dangerous animal. And I even lied to my friends at school that I have a tarantula at home. So lame. But yeah, then I remember that, well, I live on my own, I can get a tarantula, nothing is stopping me. And then I started researching about the tarantulas, and voila, I have... What was your first pet? Goldfish or a hamster? I'm really not sure which one was first. I think goldfish, but don't remember. Is there a tarantula that you like to have but feel you can't? Why? Thing is, most of the tarantulas that I really want to get at the moment are also the most expensive one. So the only obstacle is money, of course. Money, the only obstacle. Have you already been keeping tarantulas as a teenager? Nope, as I said, my mom wouldn't let me. Will you use an artificial nest for your ants, or will you get a big tank and fill up with... What I want to do for the ants is to have a picture. So yeah, artificial nest it is, that shows the whole colony. But of course it needs to grow first. It needs to grow. What country are you from, and when did you get into tarantulas? I said that I'm from Croatia. A question for all of you. Have you heard about Croatia? Answer me in the comments. Did you ever get bitten? Nope, never. And I don't really plan to. Where are you going to put all of your slings when they grow up? I don't mean the enclosures, but more space related. Getting pretty full on this side of the room. And the other question is also similar. What are your options if your collection becomes overcrowded? Also, would you ever move into a new home? So yeah, what are my plans? If I'm starting to run out of space, I will probably sell some tarantulas, but there is still more room. When they grow, it could be a problem, but I will just sell, trade, something like that. And will I ever move into a new home? I hope that one day I will be able to move into a house so I could have a special room for tarantulas and other animals and the whole YouTube setup. What is your favorite tarantula? I don't really have a favorite tarantula because it always keeps changing. I usually find something amazing in almost every animal, and then it is really hard to have a favorite one. What is your favorite arboreal and why, and same for terrestrial? As I said, I don't have favorite tarantula, but if I could keep only one arboreal and one terrestrial, then it probably would be Poecilotheria ornata as arboreal and Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, aka green bottle blue, as terrestrial. What are some tarantulas you really want, and what tarantula species would you like to have that you haven't kept already? Teraphosa styrmi. That's the one that I want to get. At what point can you make, or did you make the transition from New World to Old World tarantulas? At which one would you recommend to start with? That is a tough question because it really depends on the person. I made that transition pretty early and I was kind of foolish with it because I got my Grammostola rosea. I kept it for 2 or 3 months maybe, and it was a tiny sling, so not really exciting tarantula. And I decided I need something more exciting, and I got Hylobrachys huahini female. That was not really a bad decision because I personally am pretty responsible, so I really knew that I won't be doing anything foolish with it. My first rehouse was terrible. I even have a video of that, but it was messy. I didn't really know how to approach it. And that is also the reason why I made YouTube videos, because not a lot of people were really showing how to do stuff correctly. But even if you watch the videos, you can't really be prepared until you experience the speed. That's why I would recommend everyone, before getting an Old World, to first get some Psalmopeus and Tapinauhenius, because they are New World, but they are also crazy fast. So at least they can prepare you for the speed. Once you can handle Psalmopeus or Tapinauhenius, you can easily handle an Old World. And also, some people really aren't for an Old World tarantula. That's also the fact. What is like wearing tight pants? Well, they are tight pants, but always get elastic ones. So even though they look tight, they really aren't that tight. You see, they are stretchy. What is like to live on your own with a bunch of spiders? Amazing, if you can afford it. But yeah, amazing. In your first tarantula mating, you made a pizza recipe. It's a secret, sorry. Is there an update on the mating video? Nope, still no exec. Skipping that many tarantulas an expensive hobby. If you have your own food, if you have the colonies, roach colony or whatever do you keep, and if you make your own enclosures like I do, especially if you are keeping them in plastic boxes because they are really cheap, then no, it's not really expensive. If you want to have a nice display with a lot of nice glass or plexiglass enclosures, especially if you are buying them from the pet stores, like that Exoterra stuff, that's expensive. If you do it yourself or have plastic boxes, then no, not really. And also what a lot of keepers do, they breed tarantulas that they have, and then they trade their slings for other tarantulas. So basically their hobby is sustaining their hobby, if that makes sense. Can you introduce yourself with your age and name? I'm 30 years old, and my name, that's a secret. Petko is a nickname I have for a long time. Why all these cans? I really don't know. I like to have a collection, no matter what it is. And for some reason I started to collect cans because I like how they look. And now I realize that I have a lot of beer cans, and I personally don't really like beer. I drink it with friends when you go out or something like that, but I don't really enjoy it. And with this collection it seems like I'm a big beer fan, but no. That's why I'm slowly making a transition to soda cans instead of beer. No special reason, just I like collections. do plan to purchase new species other than tarantulas, like hermit crabs, for example.